Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Cheap Comic Collector, and this is episode number 91. And today we're going to do another What Am I Reading? These are the four that I just finished reading. First up, we have Marvel Team Up number 148 from 1984. Spider-Man and the Mighty Thor. Al Milgrom did the cover. It's got... I'm not quite sure what's supposed to be going on here, actually. It looks like Thor is hurtling his hammer while Spider-Man is holding on to it, but it's hard to figure for sure. And the story starts out with... wasn't really impressed with his artwork at all on the first page, but what's happening here is these kids are spraying graffiti on a wall, and this kid is dressed as a superhero. He wants to be nomad and tries to stop them. And they basically bully him, and then he's walking around feeling dejected, and he falls into a hole, which leads him to a tunnel, which leads him to the bad guy's hideout. And meanwhile, Spider-Man's at the hospital trying to sneak in to see the Black Abbot, or at least who he thinks is the Black Abbot, from the previous issue, I guess. And Thor shows up when these ships crash into the hospital to try and kill the guy that's in there. And it's kind of a nice panel there with Thor throwing his hammer. And I wasn't real impressed by this issue. I kept nodding off while I was reading it a little bit. It's got a couple neat sidebars in it. Like this one here is... it shows that the Fantastic Four has Spider-Man's black costume in containment. You see it here. And this is, of course, before he merged with Eddie Brock and became Venom. So that was kind of a neat little thing thrown in there. And then it's got an ad for Saturday mornings. We got something called the Kid Video, Mr. T, Snorks, Pink Panther and Son, Smurfs, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Going Bananas, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and You Should Be There, Be There, Be There. It's too bad they don't have Saturday morning cartoons anymore. Anyway, the story progresses. Thor gets captured. Spider-Man sends the kid for help. He's supposed to call the Fantastic Four and the Avengers. But he mixes up what Spider-Man told him to say to prove that it was really an emergency. So they don't, neither the Avengers or the Fantastic Four get called in because he messes up the messages. And then so Spider-Man Spider-Man rescues Thor, and then it continues. And it was a neat issue. It was okay. It's got a little letter column at the end, and it was all right. It just didn't really hold my interest all that much. I did like the little thing about the costume. I thought that was neat, and the kid messing up the messages was a nice touch too. But other than that, it was just pretty straightforward. So we got Magnus Robot Fighter from 1969. This is issue number 26. This is my first experience reading a Magnus comic of any type. I have quite a few of them, but I've never read. This is the first one I've read. Great painted cover, as always, on the Gold Key books. And the thing that actually impressed me the most about this issue was the ad on the inside of the front page. It's the Banana Splits Club by Kellogg's. And I've never seen this ad before. So for 25 cents, you get to be an official charter membership. And you get all this stuff. You get a membership certificate, a membership card, a 16-page club booklet, an official club pennant, a shoulder patch, a secret club code and decoder, and an autographed club picture. That's quite a bit for 25 cents. I mean, I'm guessing the pennant isn't that big. It's probably not a full-size one. It's probably one of those little dinky ones. But still, for 25 cents, I would have joined that, I think. And they show a bunch of cereal boxes down here that are some of the mascots, it looks like, were different back then. I don't even know what Kellogg's Stars is. I've never heard of that one. And also, what's that last one? Puffa rice. Whatever the heck that is. So, anyway, the stories were actually pretty good in here. They held my interest. Artwork's okay. And it took me a little bit to understand the language that they were talking, because they kind of use slang, like futuristic slang for their future. This is supposed to be in the year 4000 AD. And so they have a spaceship landing on the place they are is called Northam, which I'm guessing is supposed to be short for North America. And this is a spaceship that was sent out 1,000 years earlier with people like this guy that used to be human, but they had so many mechanical parts and stuff put into them that they could live a very long time. And he sets out to actually destroy what he's come back to, or at least they think he's going to. He releases this vapor that makes people want to destroy everything. So he keeps getting breathed in by people that order the robots to destroy everything, and then they have to fight the robots because he's the robot fighter, and it continues. And the guy that brought the vapor to Earth changes his mind and wants to help save it. So they team up with him, and everything is hunky-dory at the end. And then in the middle, we've got the Gold Key Club News. And some animal drawings that were sent in by readers. And Gold Key Comics Jokes on You. Why are horses hard to get along with? They always say nay. Yes, and they started out with that one, so that's probably the funniest one there. And then there's a second story, Journey to the End of the World. And this was kind of interesting, too. They're in some kind of time-traveling device where they can view the past. So they're in some kind of vehicle that takes them to the past, and they can see dinosaurs. And then they have to escape before the dinosaurs attack. And then there's this one idiot on board that thinks it's all fake, so he does something that sends them far into the future, where Earth is just a barren wasteland, and the sun is going out. And there's this one huge robot left on Earth, of course, because he's the robot fighter. He's got to fight a robot, right? So it's trying to destroy them because that's its job. And, they get out of that situation. And then this was interesting. There's a text page here, but these are actually text stories that readers sent in and were paid for. They would pay you like $5 to if they used your little story. So that was kind of cool. Never seen that before. And then there's a backup from the Aliens, which is a ongoing thing. In this episode, they're fighting some kind of chemical or something that gives them delusions, like this thing that's coming through the glass at them isn't really there, and they're shooting at it, and so on and so forth. And then there's some kind of big vehicle that's supposed to be showing up at the end before it's continued on into the next issue. And that's the last of that one. And that was a good issue. I actually did enjoy that. I didn't, as always, I didn't expect to enjoy it, and I did. I can see why people like that series. Then we have New Cherry Tunes number 17 from 1972, starring Heckle and Jekyll. And I thought I'd get a kick out of this, and I really didn't. I don't remember exactly what Heckle and Jekyll were like. It did bring back a memory of me and my brother somehow imitating Heckle and Jekyll. We thought, he thought that they were hilarious, and somehow he convinced me that they were funny because he thought they were funny. And that's kind of, it's a very vague memory. I don't have a really good memory of it, but basically we were imitating Heckle and Jekyll of some sort, I think from a comic that we had, and driving my mom up the wall. So that was a nice memory that it rekindled of my brother. But other than that, this was just not all that interesting. I think if I was more familiar with the cartoons, I maybe would appreciate it better. And then the second story, Silly Sydney, is a very, very silly story. It's an elephant that talks with a lisp. And I don't know if these were in the cartoons or not, but it's really silly. The whole issue is very, very silly. And then there's also Hashimoto-san, which is basically, I guess, Japanese mice, the way they're drawn and the way they talk. This cat is the bad guy, which is an interesting design because he kind of looks like a rabbit instead of a cat. But anyway, certainly not politically correct anymore. And they build a fake dragon to teach the cat a lesson, and then we go back to another Heckle and Jekyll story, which was just more nonsense. It's just a very nonsensical type story, the whole thing. So didn't enjoy that one very much, really. It was interesting, but that's about all I can say for it. And then we have Convergence Green Arrow. I'm still working my way through the Convergence series. I'm up to Green Arrow, doing them alphabetically. I enjoyed this one. This was a good story. It's got some great artwork there. You got Green Arrow on a motorcycle. Let's see who did it. Christy Merck was the writer. Rags Morales was the penciler. Claude St. Aubin is the inker. And that's a great opening panel right there. That's very cool. So, like all the Convergence stories, Green Arrow's trapped in the dome. And so far, I think all of them has either been in a metropolis or Gotham City. Even characters that don't normally hang out in those cities are stuck in those cities for one reason or another. They just happen to be there when the dome's dropped. So I'm not clear on why that's always the case. And this guy here, this is Connor Hawk. I'm not real familiar with the Green Arrow family of characters anymore, so I don't really know who he is exactly. I know he's Green Arrow's son. I don't remember him looking at it like this, so I don't know if this is just a totally made up version for this story or if he's actually from somewhere. But this is their first meeting. Green Arrow did not know he had a son. And then it goes on, and then towards the end of the issue, they meet up with Dinah Lance and I guess her daughter. And I'm not familiar. I mean, I know Dinah Lance is Black Canary. I'm not familiar with these versions. So I don't know if they're from somewhere else either, or if they're made up for this story. It doesn't really say. And in the second issue, it continues on with, at first they team up because they think they're all supposed to team up to fight somebody. And then eventually they realize that they're actually supposed to fight each other. And then the ending kind of left me scratching my head a little bit because, well, I won't tell you who wins, but the team that lost doesn't get destroyed. And that's kind of was the whole point of these teams battling each other, these heroes battling each other, is that they're supposed to be, whoever loses, their whole city gets destroyed along with themselves. So maybe it's the timing of when it happens. I'd probably have to go reread the miniseries to actually know what's going on for sure. But I'm not going to do that anytime soon. I just didn't like it enough. But the artwork was phenomenal in here. The storyline was good. The characterization was good. It did like I said, it did left me scratching my head towards the end. There's a couple other issues that do that too, that I just it doesn't, there's some kind of thing that it doesn't quite make sense. And maybe they had to do that to fit the continuity they're being forced into. I don't know, but anyway, of these four, I would actually say that Magnus was probably my favorite, actually, even though it's it's not as dynamic as the superheroes. It was a good storyline. I enjoyed it. I had never seen it before, so it was something new for me. And of course, the art in Green Arrow that's just a gorgeous first panel there. So, thanks for watching. Tomorrow, we'll have another episode. It's probably going to be some more books. We'll be going through some more comics that I got in. So, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.